Hi, this is Jethro from Huey Marine. Today I'm going to change out the diaphragms on the fuel pumps of this Honda 4-stroke. This is a 15 horse. The reason I'm doing it is that the motor's hard to start and it seems to love choke. So I've already sort of put a new fuel filter in. I've made sure there's no air leaks in the in any of the hoses or anything. I've put a new hose connection on them, the genuine Honda hose connection, and it's still hard to start and seems to need lots of choke. And the reason why I think that it's probably the something to do with the fuel pump is that the plugs are still dry, so you can pull it with a choke on, you know, like 4 or 5 times, and normally you think, oh, it might be flooded, but I've pulled the plugs out and they're totally dry. So I don't know how long since the fuel pump diaphragm's been done, but anyway, I'm going to give that a go and see how we go. So if you've got similar problems, you might want to see exactly how the fuel pump works and how you change over those diaphragms. You just need to undo those couple of hoses that are going in, one in obviously and one out of the fuel pump, and then there's a screw on the top, just a Phillips head screw, and another Phillips head screw underneath, and the whole thing just pulls off. The problem you've got then, bud, is that you need a special tool to actually get the top off to replace the first diaphragm. And so you need not only one of these little torque screws, but you need the ones with the holes in the end. So they're pretty cheap at a car shop or something like that, so not too much to stress about. But I've also found that if you don't want to spend the 20 bucks at a car shop or something, with a small pair of multi grips, I could actually get those off, those special little things, and take the top off. But anyway, we'll pull that off and then start pulling the fuel pump apart. So now I've taken off the 4 screws at the front with the torque thing, and I've checked inside there. There's your return springs or valves to stop it going either way, the petrol either way. They both look to be in good condition. And if you go down to the end there, you won't be able to, oh well, you can see through there. There's no obstruction or anything in the fuel coming in and out. And there's the first gasket that you can see there. It looks a bit sloppy, but nothing too bad. You know, there's the front bit that we took off. So we'll turn it around now, and you've got those same sort of torque screws on the back to get the main part of the body off. So I'll pull that off now. So I've taken this back bit off now, and this is where it actually gets a little bit tricky. So there's the other diaphragm in there, and this is the new one, and you'll see it's got a little hole there. And that's where, I hope you can see it, there's a little tiny pin that goes through. And this can be a little bit tricky. So the idea is it's actually sitting around about there through those other things, so you can see it. But you've actually got to turn the diaphragm around so that pin lines up with that larger hole. And then you have to attack it from the other side. There's a little slot on the other side. Oh, sorry, hope you can see that there. A little slot on the other side where you can push that pin out and get the pin out. So I'll just do that now, and that way we'll have the diaphragm out, and hopefully it's a simple exercise to replace it from there. Okay, so once you've got the pin out, you can see it's a pretty simple exercise. This little diaphragm just pulls out. That's where the pin was, in that little hole there. And that's clear there. So we just got to put the new diaphragm in there, reverse it, put the pin back in, and you know, reassemble is obviously the reverse of pulling it apart. So let's see how we go. Okay, so we've got it all back together. There's just a couple of things I wanted to show you before I crank it over and see what happens. Firstly, when you're putting on the second diaphragm, just want to make sure that this little black tab, there's a little bit of rubber sticking out of the bottom there, lines up with this little mark here, just so it goes in the right way. And then secondly, with this top screw and the bottom screw under there, Honda recommends that you use Loctite with that. So I have Loctited those in, put a bit of Loctite in there, just so they don't come out easily. And the other thing I just wanted to say is that although I said the other diaphragm didn't have any tears or anything in it, once I put the new diaphragm in, you could see that there was noticeably more resistance when I was, pushing the tab in and out, the one that hits the cam on the inside of the motor. You could see there's noticeably more resistance, so it should be pumping the fuel through a lot harder than it was before. So we'll give that a go in a minute anyway and see how it turns over. Okay, so let's see how we go now. I got some choke on and throttle, and see how we go. Oh, there we go. Beautiful. Okay, so it all seems to be going pretty good to me. I mean, that was the first start, so much easier than it was before. I'll try it again later, and if it's all good, then I'm pretty happy. So thanks for watching.